welcome to Vega Goose Says. Today we're taking a look at indie games. Now for those who do not know, independent games are basically just games that are made without corporate backing. In other words, they don't have the big studios backing them up. The main reason these games are so popular is because without corporate oversight, they don't have to worry about things like, is this game too risky, or hitting a particular demo. Many games that would be seen as too risky by the big developers end up getting made as indie games because they don't have to worry about if the risk will pay off. They're wanting to take chances, they're wanting to innovate, and gamers, as you know, tend to veer towards innovation. Now, a big boom for the indie game market has been the introduction of digital distribution. This means you don't have to necessarily be able to mass produce discs or cartridges or whatever. As long as you can get a download link, you can make your game available to the masses very quickly. The last 5 years in particular, I've seen a huge boost in the popularity of indie games. And mind you, when I say indie games, I don't mean that the games themselves are small. In fact, one of the biggest video games of all time, Minecraft, actually is an independent game. And speaking of, a bit of a cheap plug for one of our friends here at Hold the Line, a fellow media contributor, Macatech. Over on his channel, he's just started a Minecraft playthrough with his sister Kookie. It's been quite interesting. I thought it was very funny. I'll put their link in the description. I advise you check it out. Now, admittedly, there's never been a clear definition as to what indie games mean. There's never been a cutoff, oh, that's not an indie game anymore, or that's a professional game, etc. But the basic part of it is, indie games are developed by either individuals or a small group. So people who are working on something they love, not they're trying to get out by a certain deadline to make a profit. In fact, many people blame companies like Electronic Arts and or Capcom for the reason that these games are so popular, as people have grown tired of the big companies putting out shit after shit without worrying about whether or not it's good, worrying about whether it's out on time. Now, had these big developers not become money-grubbing douchebags, it's entirely possible that this whole indie games thing would not have gotten as big as it has. Now, there are some complaints about indie games that admittedly I disagree with for the most part, but would be rather unethical not to mention them. The first of which is that indie games do tend to have lower-end graphics than their big brother counterparts. Well, let me tell you something about graphics. Some of the best games ever made came out for the SNES way back, and their graphics comparably are terrible. Yet the stories and the gameplay still hold up a lot better than a lot of titles that are coming out today. And frankly, to be fair, it really isn't fair to review a game based on its graphics. You'll notice in my latest reviews, I don't touch on the graphics very much, particularly because graphics don't make a game. The gameplay makes a game, the story makes a game, the graphics don't make a fuck. And I think a lot of people, myself included up until just here recently, put way too much emphasis on graphics rather than focusing on what actually matters. Personally, I think if you take the time to look into the indie games market, you might see a future for gamers everywhere. Until next time, my name is Vega Goose saying thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.